Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In this one we're looking at the glorious PC Gaming Race modular mechanical keyboard. This is the TKL version, but they've also got a full size if that's your preferred way of going about it. And the main selling point from this keyboard is it's got a full modular design. This allows you to choose the custom switches and the keycaps that you choose before you buy it, so you can have an entirely custom gaming experience. They also do pre-built ones as well if you want to go about it that way. So I'm going to reel quickly through the specs before we go onto the website so I can show you exactly how you get all this set up. So you have a wide range of switch choices. I'll show you that on the website part in a moment. Also removable keycaps to go on that, black or white as well. You get a switch puller and keycap puller tool included in case you want to change them after you buy the keyboard. So that's something you don't have to buy as an extra. The keyboard has got a full N key rollover with a standard 87 key layout. You've also got 16.8 million color RGB LED backlighting as well. Also has built-in effects and then more available on the software. Of course, I'll show you that later in the video. Works with XP, Vista, Windows 7, Windows 8 and Windows 10. And it comes with a 6 foot or 2 meter braided cable that is removable. So on the website is where we're going to find all of our customization for your own switches and your keycaps. This is the pre-made version, which is the one I've got here, which has the brown Gatoron switches. But then you can go into the customized version and you've got all the different switch types to choose from. And then you can also choose from the white or black keycaps. Now there's loads of different videos on YouTube about different switches, so I'll link one of those in the description box below if you're not quite sure on which one to go for. Then there's also options to get maybe a dampening kit, or even to get some additional switches that you can then change out at a later date. This might be great if you want to maybe put a black or a different feeling keys on certain ones, so it gives you a nice distinct difference when you're pressing that key. So maybe if you're in a gunfight on Battlefield, that's a great advantage, as you know you're going to be too far over on the keyboard and you can easily adjust back to where you should be. So included in the box you get a nice simple user guide, a little leaflet on how to replace the switches if you want to go down that route at a later date, the 6 foot or 2 meter braided cable, a switch remover, a right angle micro USB adapter, then an additional escape key. The red one's actually on the keyboard by default, but the additional one that I had was the escape, and I've just simply swapped them around just to make it look a little bit more clean. So the keyboard itself has got a nice aluminium backplate, got a lovely brushed black effect on there. And then as you can see, I've got the black keycaps on mine, but you can get white as I showed you on the website. Got a US layout in this scenario. I generally go for a UK, but I'm not sure if that's quite available just yet. But hopefully that's something they'll bring along for other people outside of the US. So on the right hand side of the keyboard, we've got the insert home, page up and down and delete. You've got the different effects that are built into the keyboard. Offers nice easy control as you can do it via the function key. I'll explain more on that in a moment. You've also got an option to go for a 6 or a full N key rollover as well on the top right hand side. Then just above the arrow keys you've also got the LEDs for the caps lock and then the Windows lock. That disables the Windows start menu popping up so you don't accidentally press that during a game and accidentally tab out. Always a useful feature to have. So continuing the onboard lighting settings, you've got two buttons with the plus and minus that allow you to change maybe the direction of the effect and also go through some basic colours such as red, green, blue, orange, yellow, white, etc. before it goes back to the rainbow effect. So it allows you to change it without having to go into the software. Now you can do the per key lighting via this method as well, but to be honest it's very tricky and a lot easier just with the software. Now all of these options are accessed by the function key as most other keyboards use. And then this also offers you controllability for your media as well, so play, pause, previous, next track, as well as volume controls along the F keys. There's also some buttons as well that you can bring up for the calculator, my files, internet and your music. You can of course change these in the settings if you so wish. There isn't any real meaning to this clip, just as it was a pretty cool startup, I just wanted to show it. So the edge of the keyboard has got a chamfered edge, which means it's quite shiny. It's not to the point where it's annoying, but it does give a little bit of a sheen if you hit it right with the light. So on the top side of the keyboard it's a very sleek style again with the matte. Now if you go with the full size option you do have cable routing in the actual keyboard itself, but for the TKL it's straight into the back. But if you want to route it off to the side you do get the adapter included, which is another way around it. Now the back of the keyboard's very plain. You've got 4 pads for your grip on your surface, then also some on the end of the feet if you want to raise your keyboard up just to make sure it's going to stay where you put it. But one thing you may notice which I absolutely love on this keyboard is the fact they've incorporated a keycap puller into the keyboard itself. Now imagine this, you're at a LAN event, it's 2002, you're that guy out of South Park playing World of Warcraft and you drop some chips on the keyboard. Well, you've got a keycap puller on the back of the keyboard so you can easily pull those keys off and then blow out those bits of chips. So I think that's a great idea. Hopefully more keyboard companies will start incorporating that because it's oh so convenient. So whipping off the keycaps, we've got our Gatoron brown switches underneath. Then you can easily take these out with the included tool, just putting the little clips on the top and bottom of the actual switch. So simple to change out, so if you do want to go ahead and change them in the future, don't panic and think it's really difficult because it's really simple. So for those of you that are interested in how it sounds, here's the clip for you. Basically, I think it sounds pretty good. It's one of the better sounding keyboards that I've tried. Now, this is obviously caused by the ABS double shot keycaps that the keyboard has. Now, obviously, if you want, you can go third party and get different keycaps to put on your keyboard, but I think they feel and sound pretty good. Now, there's not very much key wobble as well, thanks to the double shot keycaps, so you get a nice solid feel when you depress the switch. So now this is a quick video to just show you some built-in effects that are on the keyboard, just scoring through them quickly. It's actually playing at twice the speed just to kind of get through it, as we can also do this on the software that I'll show you in a minute. So use the buttons on the right with the home, insert, page up and page down, etc. to change your style. And then you've got the plus, which will change the color of the effect, and then the minus, which will change which way it goes, for example, but I will cover this more in a minute. So on the software for this keyboard downloadable on the website, it goes through even more variations of lighting effects that you can do than what's just on the actual keyboard. So I'm just literally going to play this through and you can have a look at what's available. I won't go and say what is on every single one because obviously you can just see it. But what you do have on there is options to change it to a specific color, and then also to just randomize the color as well. So pretty much what you're doing on the keyboard with the options for going through the different colors, and then the settings you can literally do on here as well. So you can change the speed and things as well. You can even turn the lighting off as well if you don't want it on all the time. But there is a massive range there. Some of them I didn't seem to actually find any function with. I think that may just be a little bit of a bug, or maybe they work with specific games or something. I'm not quite sure there. And then you can also adjust the polling rate at the bottom there as well. Now, just while this plays through, I just want to mention the white effect on the LEDs. As you may know, white is kind of a baseline that I always test on keyboards that have RGB. If you go through my old keyboard videos, you'll find I've mentioned it in pretty much every single RGB keyboard review. As it's a difficult colour for RGB to produce, because obviously using 3 different colours of LED to try and make one, it's always quite tricky for some specific LEDs to actually make that colour. On this one, it is actually a pretty successful white. There's a little, maybe slight tinge of purple, but it's certainly a stronger white than other RGB keyboards can produce. If you want to see this colour in specific detail, if you go back on the previous clip where I showed the different lighting on the keyboard itself, you do see some white on there, so you can have that as a kind of baseline. There's no colour correction on that clip either, so that is literally true to life. But there's some quite quirky effects in here as well, like some Dragon Ball Z ones. Knight Rider themes. Matrix is a pretty cool one. Obviously, if you set it to green, it looks even better. But some nice changes and something a bit more unique to what we see from other manufacturers. So you have got per key backlighting available on the custom mode. You literally select a certain colour on the left hand side and then just literally go and click through what keys you want that certain colour. You've also got options to go and erase colours as well. And there's also presets on there for certain specific game types like FPS, MMO, MOBA, things like that on there as well. And you can save custom profiles, which is always handy to have. There's also 3 additional full profiles in the top right hand side of the software. So you could set a profile for each game, then a full set of macros on that profile to follow suit as well. So then you don't have to go and override each macro every time you want to play a different game. So if you want to record the macros, just flick over on the top menu to the macro settings, select your key, and then you've got options to go and do a singular key command, or you can go into more options and then select a load of different keys to press. Just hit record and then you can type in what you want. If you want to, you can record the delay or you can take that off. And then it also lists exactly how long you pressed a key, and you can change the positioning of them. You can remove certain ones, you can clear the whole thing and start again. You've also got basic options there as well to set up some more simple shortcuts, but it's nice and simplistic and easy to use. Okay, so that's the software. It's pretty much now down to the conclusion. So it is a lovely simplistic design, which I do really like. Certainly nice and minimal, which looks great on any desk. Obviously they've themed it more to the gamer, as you do have the ability to change out certain switches. If you were using this primarily for gaming use and you're not a typist, maybe a red set would be great, and then maybe adding in some blacks. So then you could use those on maybe the keys that you don't use quite as often, such as like reload, shift for ducking or running. So it does feel a little bit different, and you know you're going to be hitting the right key without looking down at the keyboard. Now, being that they have designed this for the gamer, there's no dedicated macro keys, which I thought was a little bit strange for a company that is called Glorious PC Gaming Race. And that's something that a lot of gamers may want to have. So maybe they'll bring out another variant that actually includes this. Also, the additional switches adds a much longer life to any other keyboards, being that you can just swap out switches at any point in time. Now, I'd like to see maybe a few additional switches just included in the box, as I did find my right arrows a little bit sticky. I think 4 or 5 just as a little peace offering would be nice, should you find any that come up a little bit defective. Now, general workflow with the brown switches is pretty good. That's primarily why I went for the browns, as I do a lot more typing than I do gaming. But browns do offer the best of both worlds if you're wondering what to go for should you do both like me. Now, as a quick side note, they do wrist rests as well. They did actually include one with my keyboard, but my desk is so shallow I couldn't use it to a point where it was comfortable. I had to use the wrist rest right up to the keyboard, and obviously it's called a wrist rest, not a palm rest, and my hands actually cramped really easily with it so close. So we'll put a link for the wrist rest in the description as well, but just bear in mind you need to have it a little bit away from the keyboard, so if you've got a small desk it's not really ideal. So overall, really nice, minimal, simplistic design with the great features of modular switches. That's a definite USP, unique selling point with this keyboard. Pretty good. I reckon they just need some macro features, then a few extra switches in the box just for longevity. But it's a pretty solid product. If you've got any more questions about this keyboard, please let me know in the comments box below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. If you enjoyed this video and haven't already, please consider subscribing. Thank you to Glorious PC Gaming Race for sending this keyboard out for me to review. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.